We have. Well, we've got one of the Birmingham, so he's just coming from Little Gowrie, heading up towards us. There we go. It's just starting to come through. Now, I'm not sure which Birmingham it is yet, because, as you can see, it's still quite obscured and quite far away. But there we go. Now, the vehicle that's there, we actually just bumped into them, and I told him that we had heard a lion roaring here, and that he should go and check there, and so he quickly called me back to tell me, yes, well, we found your lion, it's right here. So, awesome that it's coming north towards us now, and we were talking about just now why the lions haven't spent any time here, or we were saying that the lions haven't been here, but they actually have. The males, the Birminghams, have been in and out of Djuma all the time. The reason why they're not staying for long periods of time is because there's no females for them to settle with. Look at that, there he goes, he's coming down this path straight towards us. Aren't they looking fantastic in this morning light? Look how big their manes have gotten. Massive. You're looking very good, my boy. Now, like I say, I'm not 100% sure who it is just yet. I'm sure lots of you will know already who this is, but it's amazing just to see how big they've gotten. It looks a bit like... Ooh, I could be wrong. Oh, my boy. Yeah, they are looking so good. It's been a long time since I've seen the Birmingham, so to see one like this is just so cool, and the fact that they're coming north into Djuma is just the best thing. And he's just stopped behind us now. Sorry, Craig, I will move for you now. It's not easy for Craig because he walked literally right under Craig's backside and now is heading further north. I wonder where he's going, because he's definitely got his nose down and scenting and sniffing, so I reckon he might be heading up. And we had audio for lions during the night, so I wonder if it wasn't maybe other males that were around and he's now trying to find them. I'm going to just try go around, Craig, so to make it a little bit easier for you, so that you don't have to worry about aerials and varying other things and all of that nonsense. Thanks, Sean.
Wonderful morning.
You too, man.
I got hold of you. Like, no, he's not
Sorry, man. Me because it was coming north, and I told him where to go. And isn't this on Djuma again for the first time in a long time? Now, the reason why the males, let me get back into this because I keep getting sidetracked, but the males are transiting through here because this more time in the south. Now that they've got cubs, they are hanging around in a certain area where they generally have their cubs normally. Then you've got the Nkuhuma pride, which is being shifted into Simbambili and Elephant Plains, and that is because of the pressure that the Torchwood pride is putting on them in Buffelshoek and Manyuleti. And so we've ended up with a situation where they've split away from sort of Djuma, and the males then just transition through. So we find the males' tracks quite regularly, but we don't actually see the sort of the evidence of them during the morning or the day, because they've crossed through towards another pride. So they're kind of bouncing between Torchwood, Nkuhuma, Sticks, and that means that they're moving a lot. And the sort of time that they're moving is generally during the evenings. And so what we see is kind of, well, we hear a lot of them and we see a lot of their tracks, but we're not actually able to see and find them, which is sometimes very frustrating. Very few buffalo at the moment, which means that the lions don't have really much to eat, and so spending time here trying to hunt is very difficult. And that's why we also haven't seen the Nkuhuma settling. And then the other theory is, and this is Herbie's theory, and I maybe kind of agree with him, and we've discussed it, I've discussed it with James, and it is an interesting topic, is that 2 of the Nkuhuma cubs died here during this drought from that white muscle disease. Now he's going to do a bit of scent marking. So you see he'll rub up his face, then lift his tail. Isn't he looking magnificent though? They look amazing. And so with that white muscle disease, 2 of those cubs died. Now, the Nkuhuma females won't really know what caused that. They'll just know that 2 of their cubs got sick and died. And there could be that feeling that this area is dangerous because their cubs died in the area, and therefore it's very well, he's still going north, although he's now starting to head into horrible thicket, and I'm hoping he's going to come back towards the road. I'm just trying to keep up with him in this. It's not really very pleasant in here at all. He's gone into an area where I tried to follow Hosanna the other day, and it was a massive failure. So let me just try to see if I can't get ahead of him, and then we'll try and see if he's not going to come back towards the road. But it is cool to see, and he is sniffing into the air a lot. So So he's busy smelling and seems like he's trying to find somebody else. Now, I wonder if there isn't another male in this particular area that we just haven't seen yet. Now, he should be coming through this gap here shortly. But he keeps putting his nose to the ground, scent marking, keeps kind of lifting up in the air every time there's a breeze. So I think he's trying to smell where exactly this sort of other lion could potentially be, or his brothers for that matter. Now, like I say, inside here is almost impossible for a vehicle to go through. Hopefully he's going to start turning and coming back our way, because as you can see, it is very, very dense, and there are a few leaves moving. So that's what we're going to have to deal with should he want to come through towards us. Oh, there he is. I can see him now. There we go. But you see how he's stopping and listening? I wonder if this is where he's going to start settling for the day. Can't you turn back this way? Because in there is not much fun. But isn't that a beautiful sight? It's a sight for sore eyes, I can tell you that much. And for me, an amazing, amazing thing is that he is actually moving. Now, the Birminghams don't generally move too much when I spend time with them, so the fact that we actually have a walking Birmingham is probably one of the biggest sort of marvels of today. I haven't seen one walking in many, many months. Craig, I don't know, this is going to be tough if he goes into this, and he is. Oh, okay. Well, we're going to try and keep up with him. This is not going to be very easy, but let's try. So, Violet, you're wondering, compared to my hand, how big is his paw? Well, probably about the same size. So his toes will probably end a little bit short, but very much the same size as what my hand would be. Now, Craig, you're going to have to duck a lot through here, I'm afraid. So this is not going to be an easy way to follow. Like I say, I tried to follow Hosanna through here the other night, and it was a disaster. It took me, I don't know how long to get out of it again, but we will try and see. There's just the elephants have caused havoc, get pushed over so many trees. You can see all around us here are pushed over fallen trees, and that's what makes it difficult. During the day it should be a little bit easier than at night, because at night was the problem. It's during the day now I can at least see where I'm going. I'm also hoping that he is going to roar. He has been quite vocal this morning already, and the fact that he keeps sort of looking around, hopefully that's going to mean that he's going to let out a roar for us at some stage. Ooh, now I've got to just try and see which way I can get through here. So Andy and Julia from Los Angeles, you're wondering how, just careful here Craig, how long a lion can go without water. Well, they can go quite a while, not a huge amount of time. It's much like us as people. We can go a long time without food, but with water we can start to suffer quite quickly, and it will be very similar with the lions. You'll find lions will actually drink most days, but they will be able to go probably about 2 days until they will be really kind of getting... Oh, where's he gone? Oh, there he is. Before they'll be getting completely sort of, their body will start to shut down and not feel good at all. Now, I'm just trying to see if there's a big log here. Let's see. Now, it's interesting sort of movements from this lion. He's not moving the normal way a male lion would, which is pretty much following a road along and getting to a sort of destination. He's crossing through all kinds of places, and he's changing direction quite a bit. So he's normally he goes with it, but he's gone north, then he's cutting east, now he's going north again. So I'm not sure where he's off to. The problem is we're coming up to a drainage line. So, Joshua, you're wondering what causes a lion to attack. Well, I'm thinking that you're meaning people, because you say that this one is very relaxed. Well, this particular individual... Sorry, I've got to negotiate a thorn tree here, which is going to probably rip into me a little bit, which it has. Just careful there, Craig. So lions will attack generally when they've got something to defend. So in the case of a male lion like this, it would probably attack us if it had